Well, I thought I'd put a different painting behind me just for have a more of a diverse background. It might fall down in a moment. They're just paintings that I did many years ago. I like them both, but I'm no artist. This one's just abstract, I guess. I can't actually paint or draw. I didn't learn the tricks of the trade when I went to art school because I was lazy or lacked talent, I guess. I don't know. There's a whole load of technique involved, and some people seem to have it naturally. But you can learn most things, except common sense is a difficult one. And it struck me earlier on that, and I hadn't really understood this, that the Blade Runners are just controlled opposition again. I knew it about the people patrolling the coasts and slashing inflatable boats. Those people. I know it about the flaggers as well, really. I'm not saying there's not a few independent men who will risk a flag and perhaps even paint a cross. But if you're a white man living in Britain today and you've got any sense about you, you're not going to be getting involved in cutting down expensive infrastructure with battery-powered angle grinder, because you'll go to prison. You will be caught and sent to prison, and probably for quite a while, given the current sort of bias, as it were, against our people. I think you could call it the two-tier. We'd be in the wrong tier for a short term. I mean, I wouldn't do anything like that. I think we should obey the laws. The Bible does seem to teach that. I think only when the law is really in conflict with the law of God, then we have a problem with it. And, we're getting close, I suppose you could say, and some would say that we've overpassed that limit. But I would say not yet. But we've certainly, it's our rulers have disregarded the word of truth. The whole world, really, the whole system in the world hates Jesus Christ, just how it is. So there'll be controlled opposition as well, these fellows. I mean, you're just not going to do that sort of thing. It's pointless. You're followed, and tracked on cameras wherever you go. If you try to think about it logically, doing something like that, they'd pick you up on CCTV all over the place. Okay, you can cover yourself and all the rest of it, but you're going to get, then the people who operate these systems, and not so much the people, of course, it's the AI now that's operating those systems. People don't understand, I'm talking on the phone here and showing my face, but it's getting recorded, it's all getting stored. And you say, well, I'm not making videos. You're still standing in front of a phone that's recording you. Or we could say that can record you, and probably is. They're selling advertising. You know how it works. You suddenly get adverts for stuff that are relevant, and you can't understand the connection. It's all far more advanced probably than we do understand, I mean, and once AI has been released on us, this is the problem. AI it's just interminable. And, all this sort of nonsense then becomes indecipherable. But they're very clever. Our enemy is clever, you see, to control the opposition, to have men in its pay that will do those things. And you say, well, such and such a fellow has been sent to jail for it, and he's got a prison sentence. Well, would a man do a prison term in exchange for £1 million? It's peanuts to the people who are controlling all this stuff. And it's not a free and open market. These are marked men. These will be marked men. Men who've been through military and prison and different institutions and are fit for the task, you could say. Pioneering men, but unscrupulous. So quite dangerous. But, men can be made dangerous by conditioning and, Tavistock and all this stuff. They understand how to interfere with the psyche, and they start it in school. They do it in hospitals. We hand over our children and our bodies, many people for almost all their lives, to the national hospital services. We hand our children over to the school system, and we watch their films and TV series, which are packed with spellcraft. Actually, you would have to call it when you begin to analyze the depth. So, actors and actresses, it's a very dangerous role to play. I don't want to condemn actors and actresses, because they're also working men and women, and they're acting. They have been trained to act, and they're very skilled at acting. But it's a dangerous profession indeed, and it can be used and abused. People will go on stage to present a fiction. That's their job. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. Now, somebody could present a fiction like The Truman Show. Well, I find that pretty helpful. But when I watch a fiction like Neighbours, which I follow quite carefully, it's so packed with conditioning, and it wouldn't have been visible, I don't think, in I think the show I'm watching is in about 2008, 20, oh no, no, 19, 1985. Let me get it right. I can't even remember the passage of years. About 1985, 1986. And they're building up this modern society that we had for a while and breaking down the last sort of moral defenses or Christian wholeheartedness and goodness, and building this nihilistic world which is being prepared for us by these wizards and witches that stand atop their globes and in their pentacles and in their dark temples and amongst their human sacrifice and rituals of blood and scenes of wickedness and perversion. That is the power of the evil one. But we have Jesus Christ before us. We don't need the Blade Runners. We don't need the flaggers. Let each man see to his own conscience and his own heart. We need faith. We need the Lord Jesus Christ. And we need to spread his name through all the nations and open the book of the law and all to read that book and to make public readings of the book, the ones that should be done in church and are omitted. What use is the church if no one will open the Bible? Kind of annoying. God bless now.